What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dark Horse Discourse. So this week we'll be doing more of a promotion segment. Something I need to get in the habit of doing more often. But I took the last month or so off. Things have just been crazy with work and been traveling for work. So trying to get back in the swing of things. So let's see who's here in the chat so far. We have Mr. Edwin Acevedo, who's backstage. He'll be joining us here in a second. And then we have Victor the Lore Seeker. How's it going? All right. Wow. So today we're going to talk about the Drawing Aces Comics Group Anthology. How's it going, Buzz?
What's going on, man?
Not too much. So you've been in the space for quite a while, haven't you? I think I've been here since 2022, and I think you were here well before that, huh?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. And you've been so you write, right? You're not you don't draw or do anything of that nature, or
no, I'm a writer, creator. I pay people to draw my stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I know how that goes. I'm the same way. If only we could draw as good as what's on your wall there, right?
That was the dream early on, but once I got through high school, I was like, no, this isn't. I wasn't that talent. So
Yeah. And so, how long have you been writing, or when did you release your first comic?
I released my first comic in 2020. Was writing it probably for like a year and a half before that. So yeah, it's been putting out crowdfunded comics for the past 5 years. Writing for like the last 6. It's been a fun experience so far.
Nice. And so from what I recall, you had like the Bloodbone Ash Can, right? A couple years ago. And how many books have you done in total?
This is my 7th.
Wow. Okay. And have they all been just comics, or some ash cans, or kind of what's the mix so far?
4 comics so far, 2 ash cans. That's kind of like the main. All the Bloodbone stuff has been mostly in ash can form. Raid of the White Leopard and the Ace are both like regular comics.
Okay.
Kind of flow in between, one and the other.
Okay, nice. And then does this anthology include any of those previous works, or how did you get to the point where you want to do an anthology, and how does it tie into your other projects?
Yeah, so I started thinking about it. I've always been a fan of anthologies, mostly like, I'm a big comic book fan, so I love stuff like annuals. Anytime you get like a special annual, you'd get like this big kind of 60-page book, and then you'd have like 4 or 5 stories in there, different writers, different artists. So that was always fun. So I've always been a fan of that. And then, when Phil and the Zaid Comics put out the Lost Pages, I was really impressed by their anthology of all the different characters. So I thought, like, I like to do something like that. Once I get like my different characters all in order and stuff, be able to do like an anthology, but it features my characters, and it doesn't really intersect like his did. So all these universes are all separate. They're basically tell their own little stories in their own way. The only thing is they're kind of under my banner, so it's just kind of interesting to see how everything flows together. So that was kind of like the main inspiration.
Nice. And so give us a little bit of a breakdown of the anthology. How many stories are in it? What are your artists?
Yeah, so the Drawing Aces Comics Group Anthology is 6 short stories. It's 32 pages. So it has black and white art. So it's kind of like a throwback in that way. And it's got the 3 main characters would be the Ace, Bloodbone, and then Raid of the White Leopard. They all have short stories, and then we introduce some new characters. One is like a secret story that we don't really talk about until people get it in their hands. And then we have these 2 new characters, one called Xavier, and the other one Blue Blaze, that will hopefully come out in the next year or 2. Full-size comics. I just kind of want to introduce these characters to the world, and basically taking a compilation of everything I've been doing the past 5 years and the stuff that I'm going to be working on the next 2-3 years, and kind of blend it all together kind of visiting this world. And, I call it like a little something for everybody. It's like if you like superheroes, you have stuff like the Ace, you have Bloodbone, which lean more towards that. If you like stuff that's a little kind of different, we have the Raid of the White Leopard, which is about a band of Viking raiders who wash up on a mysterious island and then, have to deal with the inhabitants of the island. Really different story than anything I've done. Really cool, beautiful art by Avery Butterworth. And then you have something like Blue Blaze, which is very much like a love letter to like Michael Turner and his books. Very like experimental, very kind of different kind of storytelling. So it's got like a little kind of mix of everything. Not everything is the same. I'm not just hitting you with the same kind of note. I think all the art styles are slightly different. Which I really like, seeing the different art styles, the different worlds, the different kind of storytelling. So yeah, this is really, ended up printing a little ash can of it. It doesn't have all the stories, it has 4 of the 6. And I wanted to see how it flowed together. And I thought it flowed very nicely. Like the art, specifically, I was kind of worried how like the art would come out, but it all kind of fit together. And so I think it's gonna be, when it's all said and done, all those 6 stories are all complete and everything, and people get it in their hands, it's gonna be like a really, really cool like little anthology comic that everybody can check out.
Okay, nice. Well, if you want to go ahead and get that loaded, we'll get that shared. And so you said you're going to be doing 2 full-size comics after this project then in the next couple of years?
Yeah, the idea is to introduce characters like Xavier and Blue Blaze in their own kind of offshoots of this. This is just kind of like a little introduction. But yeah, I'm having some technical issues on my side. I don't know if you can bring it up on yours. I've been trying to load this Kickstarter for like 5 minutes now, and it's not going anywhere.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gotta be
sometimes
fun to have.
StreamYard is like a pain. Sometimes it just doesn't help you out.
hmm Yeah, it's gotta be fun too to have, one book where you're working with several artists. You'll have different art styles. Like you're saying, you have to have different types of stories and tones, but also from an art perspective, right? That's something that I've always had in the back of my mind. Like it'd be cool to, at some point do a book where you have, several artists involved in one project. And so that's, definitely unique compared to a lot of the indie projects out there.
Yeah, it's been really fun experience. It's really kind of got me jacked up for doing a second anthology. And,
Mm,
I already have kind of ideas and stuff what I would do for that one. So this is
nice.
something I'd love to, if it gets funded and kind of, get everything goes through. I'd love to be able to put this out like every, like maybe 2 or 3 years, put out like a different anthology,
Mm,
and just kind of, keep growing the current characters and then introduce new ones. Really make it like a semi-regular thing.
mhm. Nice. And it looks like you're well on your way to stay funded. At this point,
Yeah.
you're just gotta cruise through the next couple days, and you're good to go. So,
Yeah, we took a
um,
hit a couple days ago, but we're making it most of it back. So, like I said, we
mm,
got 4 more days. Campaign ends Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
mhm,
There's no extensions or late pledges, so
mm,
it's a hard end once 9:30 hits Monday. That's it. Like,
okay,
we're locked in. So, just trying to make a push these last couple days.
nice, cool. And then, um, what's the total page count on this?
It's 32 pages.
32. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's check out the trailer here. Hopefully, the audio will work. Very cool. And you have original art as well on this project, right?
Yeah, we made the first 4 pages of Blue Blaze available. I think one of them is sold, so you have a couple more that you can grab. Yeah,
Nice.
really just amazing pages by Joe Ball.
Hmm.
It's fantastic artwork.
Hmm.
Anybody who's seen what he does knows. These are like super detailed, really. You know, top notch work. 11 by 17, a thick Bristol. So it's
Hmm.
definitely for that price, I think it's pretty much a steal. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
also kind of getting on the ground floor of something that's going to be pretty cool. I think we got a lot of cool ideas for this to as we put out more Blue Blaze and people see more of the story and the art. I think they're really gonna dig it. Joe's really pouring out.
Hmm.
He always pours out his everything, but this is like he's hitting a different level. This is very much kind of like a personal kind of thing. Me and him are both big Michael Turner fans, so we kind of try to make him proud. To do this, putting out something that I think in his vein. So yeah, it's really cool, really dope art, so people can go grab those up.
Hmm. Yeah, no, his well, yeah, I'm a huge fan of his work. If you want black and white art or black and white comic, like there's something special about the way he does his line art and inking. And
Yeah.
yeah, just the level of detail on a single panel even is just extremely impressive. So yeah, these are the ones here, right, that are
Yeah.
you got the original art for. At least these
Mhm.
these two and I think another one.
Yeah, we showed some more as if you scroll further down. I think we have another page for Blue Blaze.
Okay. Ah,
Yeah,
there we go. Yep.
yeah,
Nice.
right there. Yeah, just
Yeah.
really just
Yeah,
beautiful
200
work.
bucks for any of those is definitely a steal, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. So you said it's 4 stories, correct?
6 stories.
6 stories.
Yeah.
So are they each around then like 5, 6 pages ish?
Yeah, about some are a little longer, some a little shorter, but they
Mhm.
average around 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. All right.
See that
So it looks
awesome
like you
cover there
get,
by Hal. Yeah, love that.
yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, really. I love seeing. First time really seeing all these characters together. It's a really fun piece. Like really, did a great job with it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. So it looks like $25 for just for the physical version, right?
For both, you get the colored version, and then you also get the line art cover. So it's
Oh, okay. So two
both
for
both copies.
two
Yeah,
two
yeah.
for
If you want
25. Yeah.
to
That's
split it with
definitely,
with a friend, you can. It
yeah.
really makes it really affordable.
Yeah, that's
Regular book is
definitely reasonable.
Yeah, the regular book is just 13 plus 5 shipping US. So
Okay.
it's under
Okay.
20 shipped. So
It looks like you have some kind of catch up as well for like the Bloodbone ash can here.
yeah, we had a different that Ricardo Jaime did the cover for that one. That was the original ash can. It was actually like foil ash can that I put out.
Hmm.
So that was very limited. So this one we're just doing like the line art version, because people really
Nice.
love that cover. I think it's one of the best covers of any of my books. So give people
Mhm.
a chance to kind of get caught up. Has the Bloodbone story here. So basically you're all caught up at everything that I put out so far. And then, Bloodbone's gonna be my next book. So it's kind of like a good lead in, get all caught up here and then probably in the summer I'll be putting out Bloodbone #1. So we'll be
Nice.
able to get that going.
Very cool. It'll be the same artist that's doing the Bloodbone portion of this book or in the ash
No,
can?
the Ashcan, the art inside art was by Donald DeLay.
Yep, yep.
He did the art. Joe Ball's doing the #1.
Ooh, nice. That's gonna be
Yeah,
sweet.
Joe's going crazy on that too. So
Well,
yeah,
just the physicality of that character, I can already tell
yeah. The
is a perfect
proportions,
fit
all that,
for
it's
yeah.
people are gonna flip out. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
So,
That's awesome. And how big a page count are you thinking for that one?
Probably about 32 again. Uh,
Okay,
so probably I like to keep it around there. Uh,
nice.
Makes a good size for like a floppy.
Yep, very cool. Nice. And then, so for, I guess, do you want to give just a little bit of a rundown then for each of kind of the
Yeah,
story, what your, I guess, pitch for each would be?
yeah. So you have short stories right here. This is the Ace. Is very much like I consider basically a prologue to like Ace Volume One. Uh,
Hmm.
it features David as he's growing up and his relationship with his dad, who's a pro boxer. You know, when we meet David in Ace Volume One, he's 21 years old. He's trying to figure out his life. You know, he's been through a lot of stuff, and you know, kind of deal with him and his mom, mostly the relationship in the first issue. So this is kind of like a little flashback. It kind of gives you some insight on how he grew up, his relationship with his dad.
Hmm.
To like a fun little kind of story that you can kind of get a little base for who David is, and you know, it's got art by Barbusco Comics. So basically, if you've followed any of the Ace stuff, this is this is originally supposed to be an Ace Volume Two, but I ended up kind of switching some things around, so it just kind of never made any of the actual volumes of the
Hmm.
Ace. So this is
Hmm.
like the perfect opportunity to kind of put this out and kind of get everybody a little extra Ace content, a fun little story there.
Nice. Very
And this is
cool.
one of the new characters we're introducing, Savior. Savior is basically the world's greatest hero. He's ends up suffering a terrible tragedy. He ends up losing his fiance, and he ends up leaving Earth for several years. And when he returns by happenstance, he ends up saving this young girl, uh, from a gang of thugs. And he ends up finding out that she's an exact doppelganger for his former fiance,
Mm.
and that kind of freaks him out. And
Hmm.
he begins kind of rounding up his old team to kind of get some answers and figure out who this girl is and why she basically looks exactly like his dead fiance.
Hmm.
So that begins like a bigger story. You know, Savior, I see, very much kind of my response to books like Watchmen. You
Mm.
know, it deals with like superheroes and you know, what's the value of staying true and being
Mm.
heroic.
Mm.
When maybe it's easier to not be. So it deals
Mm.
with a lot of greater themes, but this is kind of like the little hook to kind of get you roped in, introducing you to some of the characters in there.
Nice.
Yeah, art by Rafael Crestani. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, he did a great job in this. Like the 2 pages after this one here, these are the first two that I show are like
Mm.
my two favorite. like he really just you turn that page and you're like, oh crap. So the
Nice.
next 2 pages are killer. So yeah, it's really I'm curious to see people's thoughts on it, their feedback. It's gonna be a fun little project.
Oh
I
yeah.
already got
Well, it's cool
you know.
too because like, with having four stories in it, four different art styles, like you'll be able to get feedback,
Mhm.
of a wide variety that kind of helps you set up like, okay, which one do you put more focus on or like where are you getting, more resonating feedback from? So that's
Yeah,
definitely helpful.
for sure. You have Bloodbone short story here. Has Bloodbone tracking down a serial killer who's been hurting the women of the town. This takes place right after the Bloodbone ash can. There's like a little bonus story. So you have Bloodbone basically becoming the city's kind of like unofficial, uh, vigilante. And
Mm-hmm.
he's basically, has his first kind of like meeting with some of the people of the city, and it doesn't really go great. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a little fun, kind of idea of, having Bloodbone really just kick ass and then have to deal with like regular people.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Or by
Nice.
Maxi Dallo, really, you know, really cool style. I love that shot there of Bloodbone on top of like the building, swooping down
Hmm.
like he's Batman.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah,
Very
uh,
cool.
really dynamic style from Maxi. Really did a great job.
Definitely reminds me of Donald's style as well.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like it's not exactly there. He uses more kind of blacks and stuff, so a little more. But
Hmm.
it definitely doesn't stray too far, so it fits nicely with the story.
Nice.
You got Raid of the White Leopard. This is basically the introduction of the story. Like I said, it's about these band of Viking raiders. They're celebrating, a successful raid. They're having fun. They're toasting to the gods. And then next thing you know, the sky opens up and this massive storm hits them. And then they, kills a lot of their men. And, like a dozen or so remain. And then they wash up on this island, which, you don't really know what to expect until the last page where you kind of, hits you a little cliffhanger, kind of letting you leaves you wanting more, I think.
Hmm.
So really amazing artwork by Avery Butterworth here.
Very cool.
Yeah, this is something I've introduced to people who don't even read comics and stuff, just to kind of get their ideas of it. They all really dig it.
Mhm.
So I think the story has tons of potential. So it's
Nice.
kind of
Yeah.
a way of kind of reintroducing it to people. I put out like the number one a couple years ago. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that kind of went under the radar.
Hmm.
So kind of want to just like get it back in people's eyesight before like I do a second volume.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed too, at least in kind of our little sphere of indie comics, there really hasn't been a lot of comics, at least lately, that are related to Vikings or Norse mythology.
No,
You
no,
know.
it's maybe.
Yeah. Hmm. You got the Blue Blaze here.
Yeah, Blue Blaze, like I said, very much, story about beauty, romance, mystery. Like I said, very different kind of storytelling, very different kind of visuals from everything else. Very
Hmm.
experimental and just kind of, like I said, me and Joe just came together one day and we started pitching ideas for something just different. We just both wanted to like explore and kind of mess around with different stuff. And that's when Blue Blaze, the idea came from. And yeah, it's just beautiful art. Is really kind of mysterious story, about this young woman who wakes up in a church in a small town with no memory. And
Hmm.
then, with the help of the townspeople, she's finding out who she is. So, kind of introducing some classic elements. I think, like, I think they'll see the homages and the little kind of nods to Mike's stories, and then me and Joe have our own kind of thoughts and stuff on the way we like to tell stories. So it's gonna be fun to kind of mix that together also.
Hmm. For
And
sure.
then, like I said, there's like a sixth story, which it's like a secret story. So we
Okay.
don't really talk about it. But yeah, you'll get a bonus sixth story in the book.
Okay. Very cool. Any particular genre, or kind of keeping that close to the vest as well?
Yeah, we'll kind of let people read it and see what they think.
Nice. Okay. And then this is that the ash can from
Yeah,
Bloodbone.
this new printing of the Bloodbone Ashcan right there with the line art cover by Ricardo Jaime. Really
Hmm.
super dynamic. For anybody who missed out on the Bloodbone Ashcan, they can get all cut up here. Amazing artwork by Donald DeLay, really bringing a fun, unique style to the
Hmm.
book, kind of introducing the character. I always, I'm starting to call Bloodbone everybody's favorite. It's like people just love to draw Bloodbone. We're doing the Drawing Aces art contest, and
Hmm.
like most of the submissions are Bloodbone. I was on Drawn and Quartered the other day. Other people they were drawing Bloodbone. So I was like, yeah, Bloodbone's everybody's favorite, man. They love to draw him. Like I've got more fan art for him than I have any other character. So you
Hmm.
know, I love the fact that he kind of resonates with people. People want to draw him. They think he's cool. So like I think they're gonna love him even more when we put out the number one.
Hmm.
He's just a fun character, man. It's really just action packed, balls to the wall, just like nonstop. Every issue just goes completely hard, and something really fun. I got a lot of plans, a lot of cool, uh, you know, stuff coming in the next year for Bloodbone.
Very cool. You said you're thinking in the summers when you might be
Yeah,
doing a
probably like
campaign for that?
in July. Yeah, we'll probably get it out to people.
Nice. And yeah, definitely anyone that's a fan of Joe Ball or just some amazing art, definitely recommend picking up one of his original art pages. So I had one on my first campaign, and that was an amazing piece. That was hard for me to let go.
Yeah, if you can see there, that's a cover he
Yeah,
did for me. So yeah,
nice.
yeah.
And then you also, yeah, this sketch cover is really dope too.
Yeah, we put up a couple more actually going up tomorrow. So we put up a couple from Joe. One sold. This one's available. Really
Nice.
just beautiful. Like I think I have it. Give me a second. I'm just gonna grab it real quick.
Yeah, yeah. It's a cool piece.
There you go.
Yeah, let me try to. There we go. Very cool.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice.
Incredible detail. Like drew every inch of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Ace 3 right there. Sketch
Nice.
covers. Yeah.
And so Ace and Bloodbone are in different universes,
Yeah, all
correct?
these stories take place in different universes. None of them intersect together.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's a cool piece here too. I was just looking at that while you were grabbing that.
Excuse me. The trading card.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody who backs will get the trading card.
Okay, nice. Very cool. And then what's your let's see, your estimated fulfillment or what's kind of your target
Yeah, it's
goal on this?
targets February.
Okay, so yeah, only like what, 5 months basically
Mhm.
ish.
No, yeah.
Very cool. Nice. So I mean, historically, it seems like you've what done a comic every year or every 6 months or so at this
Yeah,
pace.
about
Yeah,
basically, every like probably 8 to 10 months I'll put up a new cross one.
nice, very cool. And
Like I
then,
said, next
oh,
one's
go
gonna
ahead.
be Bloodbone, so it's like probably like 8 months away. you know. So it
Yeah.
usually averages out to about like 9 months usually.
Well, yeah. I mean, once you're fulfilling this, I mean, yeah, within
Yeah.
5 months, you'll be starting the next campaign. So,
Yeah. So
yeah, yeah. I have a feeling that Bloodbone's gonna definitely catch some people's attention. I mean, the Ash Can definitely, um, the art on that, and that was definitely one that caught my attention. But I mean, now that the more I'm excited, you have to show me some of the art one of these days because I can picture some of Joe's art tied to that character. It's gonna be cool.
yeah. Actually we have a little sneak peek here. This is gonna be uh
Oh
in
yeah.
the actual anthology.
Hmm.
So this is a Bloodbone piece Joe did. You can
Yeah,
see
his
right there.
detailing on like
Yeah, like
musculature is
see the
awesome.
blood. You got all these villains here. So yeah, it's a little fun little teaser for everybody. Get them jacked.
Yeah, that's awesome. Huh. Very cool. And then let's see. So you got those two that you're planning on doing the next couple of years. Kind of what's your long term? You said maybe every 3 years or so do anthology and
Yeah.
like are you planning on kind of sticking with these main characters and stories or you have some even beyond like Xavier and Blue Blaze that you're planning on doing?
One for sure I'm gonna do introduce. There might be a second one. Yeah, each character is gonna have their own stories. If you can bring it up here, you got Ace in the middle. You'll have a story. That's Xavier right there. He'll have it his own story, kind of introducing everybody to him. That's Eric. He's the one of the Vikings from Raid of the White Leopard, and then Bloodbone right there. He'll have his own short story plus two more. So you had a total 6 different stories, each featuring different lead characters in different worlds, different artists. So it really is kind of like trying to make everything kind of flow together, but make everything distinct. You know, like the distinct art style, this distinct storytelling. This is very much kind of like a test for me as a writer and creator. You know, see if I can pull this off. But I think you know, from everything I got, most of it's done. There's one page left to do of like the most of the page is I think finished. I think it just needs to be inked now. So it's close to getting, and then there's like 2 pages that have to be reworked. So it's not really too much left as far as actual art, and then it's probably like 6, 7 lettered. My letter are super quick, so SK will get that banged out quick once everything on the art side is finished. Because you know I'll go through some revisions and stuff, but it's a 6, 7 pages lettered. Then once I got that done, is you know ordering the proof, making sure that's good, and then you know start ordering supplies or whatever, and kind of start stocking up before you make the full order for the figuring out how many books. I don't print too much over, so you know like I'll have probably enough for like comps and re you know if anything gets lost in the mail. But all my campaigns are pretty limited. Like Ace, I think I maybe have like 5 copies left. Ace 3. Like I'm not printing over. I got stuck with like 4 or 5 boxes of Ace Volume 2 comics, mostly because I got a bunch of damaged ones from the printer I was messing with. So that was a whole disaster. So I'm trying to, you know, there's not gonna be much over, and so like you know, it's not like I think it's you know. If you like it, better jump on it while you can, because there won't be too much left over. So, you know, if you dig the cover and stuff, and people know me, like I don't really do covers again. Like maybe I'll do like a line art cover or something, but if I put out like the actual cover, it's pretty much done like that. You won't get another chance of it. You know, like very rare. So if you like any other covers or anything, once they're gone, they're kind of gone. So. You know, now's the kind of chance to back it. Like I said, there's no extensions, nothing like no late pledges, nothing like Monday 9:30, the campaign automatically closes. Kickstarter shuts it down, then it starts collecting money, and we find out if we make it or not. So we're at the end here. Like this is 4 days. That's it.
And you're only doing Kickstarter, or are you going to do it on any of the other sites as well?
We'll see. I kind of want to see how this one goes. You know, because if it doesn't fund, I'll have to see maybe launching it on another one. You know, I thought maybe about doing a different cover for like a separate campaign, but it just depends how much time I have. 9 to 5, things are tough. Like literally, like I got home like 8:20. You know, got some food, threw some water on my face, and then you know came to stream. You know, so like this is kind of like how the grind goes for the last like 60 days, basically. It's been like, you know, try to fit in streams in between my 9 to 5, which takes most of my days. So, you know, it's like there's only so many hours in the day. So like I said, possibility we might try another site, but also I might just say, you know, I'm done. and nothing's coming out. I'll crowdfund again when Bloodbone comes out next year. And, you know, so, but this is the one. So go get it now.
Yeah. Well, next campaign's not that far away, so I mean that's definitely a short break in between. Well, there's never really a break, but at least the kind of the break from the promotion circuit, which is
it's
more
hard.
time consuming than writing sometimes, you know.
People don't know, like, you know, it's like, you know, I'm you know, grateful to have, you know, 6 campaigns funded, but it's not easy, you know, like you're going out there, man, every day, tweeting every day, promoting every day, trying to hop on streams, trying to do this and that. You know, it takes its toll.
Yeah, it's like I'm excited for my next campaign, but at the same time, it's like the streaming part of it. It's like, yeah, I'm excited to do it, but then you're like, man, how am I gonna do it? Like every time you're just like, man, how am I gonna squeeze this in? Like,
Some days you're like, oh, do I have another 3 hours in me?
yeah, like so I'm gonna have to I'm probably gonna have to stay up till midnight or 2 in the morning a couple times. That's gonna be fun with work, but it's like, hey, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do and
Yeah, you gotta. So, you
indie
know, like
comics.
you know, so this is a passion of mine. That
Mhm.
I don't do it for anything except I like making comics and creating stories and you know getting people's reactions to these stories. You know, want to
Mhm.
provide some sort of entertainment, something that'll kind of uplift you, even if it's just for a couple minutes. Like I believe in the power of comics. Since I was very young. Once I discovered them, they were one of the things that brought me peace and like joy. So if I can
Mhm.
do that in any small way, and partly it makes me happy. Once I get the actual book in my hand, and all the hard work's done, and I have the proof, and it's good to go. That makes me happy. I've reread all my books multiple times just to like get
Mhm.
caught up and see, part of my work, man. It's really some fun comics.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you got one of your backers here actually swinging by. What's going on, Frost?
Oh, awesome, Frost. Thank you so much.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean that's what's cool too with you're doing an anthology. I mean, it's going to show, right, how versatile you are across different genres, different stories. So, for like brand new readers, like maybe Frost hasn't read any of your stuff before, gives him, right, a taste kind of across the board and gives you a good chance of like hooking people, whether it's on one story or all of them.
Yeah.
Versus if you're doing one genre, one book, and say it's superheroes, and some people just don't like them, and so they won't back it, but this one, it's like, "Hey, we got a little bit of everything," so
Yeah, it's been fun. Like, really looking forward to when everything is complete and I got the proof in my hand. I think it's really going to be you know, a really fun project.
mhm, for sure. And then, obviously you said, Michael Turner's, one of your inspirations, one of your favorites. Who would you say what books or what other creators have kind of got you into comics or got you to the point where you wanted to make your own?
I mean, I fell in love with my, as far as comics go, like my first two real passions were Spider-Man and X-Men. They're
Mm,
the first two books I discovered. I would go to like a local like store that had like the spinner rack, and I would just go through like, oh, what's the next issue of Spider-Man? What's the next issue of X-Men? And like I would just go there for years and just like go through and got anything with an X on it. All the 100 Spider-Man books. Those were like my main two. That kind of discovered all these different characters through them. So like like I said, Jim Lee, Will Spertasio, that whole era of 90s X-Men, Golden Blue Team, that was it, man. To me, there's nothing cooler to this day. Comics have never looked better than they did when
mhm,
those guys were drawing it. Like there's just something about the costumes, the way, the stories, the villains, everything about it just felt so epic and grand, and just felt like if you missed one issue, you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. I got to track it down. Like it just felt like an event, and it just felt like these were the coolest comics ever. And then Spider-Man, growing up during that like end of McFarlane through like Larson through like that kind of 90s Spider-Man before like the Clone Saga. That was so much
mhm,
fun, man. You have all these Spider-Man crossing over with all these kind of weird heroes like Deathlock and Darkhawk and all these other kind of like weird stuff, and it was just so cool, man. Spider-Man was really like the best. Like Spider-Man felt like your older brother. Spider-Man
mhm,
felt like somebody that you could like he could mentor the young guys coming up. He could be in the same room with Cap and feel like an equal. People they've lost Spider-Man now. It's like a shell of himself. The
mhm,
real Spider-Man was that 90s Spider-Man. He was grown up. He had MJ, probably the most beautiful woman ever in a comic. The way she used to be drawn, you'd be
mhm,
like, Peter was the man. It's just like Spider-Man was beyond cool. And like, we're sorely missing that kind of era of comics.
mhm,
And like I said, kind of books like Ace, are very much a love letter to that. It's about this kind of up and coming hero that comes across this armor that gives him, got these superhuman abilities, and now, he has to figure out, how to be a hero, how to, wield the power, all those kind of old tropes,
mhm,
that but introducing him in this kind of crazy world with aliens and going out to outer space and all this kind of crazy stuff. So very much like, you know, Ace is very much influenced like books like Darkhawk, but it's really influenced by Spider-Man at its core, because Spider-Man influenced all those books, and then like X-Men, has there's tons of like homages and different things, different characters wear the same kind of suits as the X-Men, the blue and yellow. I have a cover that's like very much based on like X-Men covers, a lot of like the Ace covers, very much throwbacks to that kind of stuff. So yeah, those two books are like a huge influence. There's as far as DC, I discovered DC later. Books like Green Lantern Rebirth,
Mm-hmm.
are like a massive. Jeff Johns is a master storyteller. The idea of being able to tell these grand epic stories, but also never forget the core of the character is
Mm-hmm.
something, that I really take kind of ground Ace in that, make it, you have this bombast, you have different alien races, spaceships, all this kind of stuff. But in the end, the story's about Ace, it's about David, and then, you know, what kind of man he wants to be, and
Mm-hmm.
his decisions and how he deals with his friends and his foes. So yeah, all those influences are in in Ace specifically. I think like the most, because it's the thing that I worked on the longest, and the thing that I have the biggest kind of grand plan for. But
Mm-hmm.
there's always little pieces, like a lot of the Image '90s stuff is big influence on Bloodbone.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's pretty evident from the his mask to like the idea of just like this hulking kind of you know
Mm-hmm.
monstrous looking guy fighting all these bad guys and stuff. Like that's a lot of stuff that you saw in the '90s. Hopefully, kind of more succinct storytelling and more
Yep.
kind of just like a little more care into to the nuts and bolts. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have long term plans for Bloodbone, but you also like the mystery of Bloodbone. Like I think one of the coolest things is like back in the day, you when before you found out Wolverine's whole backstory, the mystery of it was cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you kind of like they give you little glimpses. You're like, oh, what's this mean? He knows this guy. Where how did they meet? And like they didn't feel like they had to explain everything, until like years later when they kind of like just explained everything and they kind of lost its charm. So
Mm-hmm.
they have like giving glimpses of Bloodbone's past, giving you little teasers here and there, kind of making you want to know more, but not like drowning you with exposition and then kind of explaining everything to you. So there's no like mystery. I'm very big on keeping mystery in Bloodbone. Like really, there's a reason. You'll see his face in different stuff, but like a lot of his past and stuff will just give you little glimpses of it. And you can kind of put it together, and then we'll we'll hopefully keep it interesting where we can throw you little twists and turns. But we want to keep some of that mystery with Bloodbone. So kind of mixing the the action, the adventure, all that kind of stuff, and with some like mystery and some kind of like more layered storytelling. That's kind of like the plan for Bloodbone. And something like Raid of the White Leopard is just you know I'm a big fan of like movies like 13th Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Like so that's big influence on like Raid of the White Leopard. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, hey, appreciate you swinging by and best of luck with this. I mean, I think you're going to be definitely cruising through this. You'll be good to go, and
Oh, thank you.
definitely looking forward to the book and what you have in store in the future here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Awesome. We have anything else you'd like to tell everybody or
Uh, Stay tuned. I owe all the artists an announcement about the Drawn Aces Art Contest that just ended Monday, but work has been kicking my ass. So give me a little more time to figure that out. We'll get the vote going and stuff. To really cool pieces.
Mhm.
Hopefully I'll have something laid out in the next couple of days. Like I said, campaign ends Monday. Uh, if anybody's looking at any of the original art tiers and the sketch covers, if you get any of those, the book comes automatically with it. I didn't put it in the description, but you don't have to worry about purchasing the. You'll get a copy as long as you back
Nice.
one of those kind of bigger tiers. And like I said, people will get the that Ace versus Bloodbone trading card. That's for all backers, so that's a little bonus for you. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Hey, you're welcome, man. Oh, awesome. Well, everyone, have a good night. Make sure you go check out Drawing Aces comic group, Anthology #1. And yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments, and make sure you share it out. Let's get as high as we can before it closes out here in 4 days, right? So that would be, you said,
Yeah,
next
Monday.
Monday.
Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. It's over. So
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a good rest of your night and take care.
peace.